Julianne McPhail, the creator of modernretrowoman.com, and this is where I get to pretend that I have my own cooking show on the Food Network. Won't you join me in my kitchen? I have this letter. It says, "Dear Dr. Julianne, now that my parents have finally, capitalized, finally downsized and moved to a retirement community, I finally get to host the holiday dinners at my house. I'm really looking forward to creating an old-fashioned holiday meal filled with family favorites. My father often talks about a Jello salad, and we use that word loosely, that had cream cheese that his mother used to make in the 1950s and 60s. I would like to surprise him and make something similar. Do you have any suggestions? Signed, finally setting up at the grown-up table." Well, finally setting up at the grown-up table, you are in luck. One of my most popular blog posts is a cream cheese Jello salad recipe that comes from this old cookbook, and it was from my grandmother's missionary circle, and here is my grandmother's cream cheese salad recipe, and my family requires me to make it every single year, so I'm going to share it with you. Let's get started.
You're going to absolutely love how easy this recipe is to make. Truly, the hardest part is having patience between each layer. I'll put the link to the recipe in the notes below, and please don't forget to subscribe. Okay, so you'll notice that I've already made my red layer using a regular size box of strawberry gelatin, and you can use whatever red gelatin you want to use. I just followed the directions on the box, but I only used half the amount of cold water it calls for and let it set up until it was almost firm. You can see it in the mold that's over on the side. And now for the really yummy layer. This is what you all really came for. I always use a lemon gelatin for this layer, and you're just going to dissolve the gelatin using 1 cup of really hot water, stir, and then set it aside. Stir for 2 minutes and then set it aside. And then you're going to cream 4 ounces of softened cream cheese. You want to make sure it's soft, otherwise you end up with lumpy stuff. And so you want to stir that up a little bit and get it all soft and creamy. And that's not really why they call it cream cheese, but that's what we'll run with. And then you're going to add 1 cup of half and half. And you're going to do it a little bit at a time. So if you're watching your calories, this is definitely not the Jello salad for you. It is not low fat, but you want to use a mixer and add it a little bit at a time so that it really blends really well. I've tried to do it by hand, but I don't think it works as well. And also using a mixer adds air to it, so it seems all light and fluffy instead of hard and dense. So this is me mixing and adding, and there we go. That's all of it. And here I am double checking. This is the scintillating part of the video, I know. And stirring down the sides because we want to make sure we get all that goodness. All that goodness. And then the next step is to just add the lemon jello and make sure it's nice and blended so that the color is evenly distributed throughout and the flavor. But don't overdo it because it does add air, but you don't want to overdo it. Oh, this is me showing off the red layer in my vintage mold. And then you just pour it over. And if you have a bigger mold, then you'll want to put this in the refrigerator, set it, let it set, and then do the next layer. Otherwise, just let it set.
The Jello has been in the refrigerator for a couple of days. I didn't have a chance to record this until now. In fact, it kind of got a little cracked in it because I forgot to put some cellophane wrap, shrink, whatever this, saran wrap over the top. Now we're going to unmold it. And if all goes well, it will turn out easy. So what I'm going to do is just go around the edge. I have a vintage mold. And I'm going to move this water out of the way. See if I can do it without spilling it. So you just take your plate and turn it over and cross your fingers that it came out. It mostly came out. It is looking a little sad. It kind of has didn't come out as smoothly as we would have liked it to. Parts of it are still left in the Jello mold. So what could I have done to prevent that? Well, one of the things that people recommend is that you stick it in some hot water for just a minute or two. No, I mean, not even a minute, two, but just enough to melt it just a wee bit, and then it will come out easily. And I don't know if you can see how just putting it in for that short amount of time caused it to melt. So this is one of those do as I say, not as I do kind of thing. Although in our family history, let me pour out this water for a moment. First time I made this Jello, I made it in a dish just like this. And I had it 3 layers. It had the full recipe of 1 layer of lime Jello, 1 layer of the cream cheese, and then 1 layer of the strawberry. And I didn't follow the directions just right, and it split right down the middle. The 1 layer split off of the top, and it just kind of slid off of it. And it was the red layer, and it will forevermore be in our family lore as the parting of the Red Sea, as it just split in half and slid right off. So I would recommend that unless you have a silicone mold, or that you remember to spray your mold with some non-stick stuff, something, that you use the water bath method. Otherwise, you're going to end up with something that looks a little lumpy like this. Thank you for watching, and for the recipe, you may visit my blog at modernretrowoman.com. Until next time, bye now.